I'm super excited to share with you guys kind of like my testimony on the Daniel fast that I went on at the end of June, and then it went into July. A little bit of backstory: I'm going into grade 12, and so I got this opportunity to go to a college readiness workshop. It was just a one-day workshop where we were getting to talk with different people of different aspects or different areas of expertise. Somebody was talking about social media, somebody was talking about applications, scholarships, and like the balance of life and school in general once you're in college or university, depending on where you live and what you call it, but post-secondary as a whole. And the scholarship one was the one that stuck out to me because I've always, in my head, I was like, I think I'm going to go to a certain school. I'm going to need to make sure I get scholarships to fund this because having a big family, scholarships can help a lot with not having to. I don't want to focus too much on how I'm going to pay. I just want to focus just on the studies and, doing the Lord's will in post-secondary. So I'm like, okay, I need to go and be on these scholarships. So I go on to look at this certain scholarship that I wanted to apply for at the beginning of my grade 11 year. But I thought that I didn't have the qualifications, I didn't meet the requirements, so I didn't actually end up applying for that certain scholarship. And then I searched it up again now that I'm done grade 11. This is summertime, going into grade 12, and I'm looking at this scholarship and I'm seeing the names of the winners. And I'm scrolling and I look at this particular name and I'm like, wait a second, this person was literally at the workshop I just went to. And I was just like, what is going on? And instead of feeling like really happy, like, oh my gosh, like, she got it, like, like it's not like so far out of reach, like people from, because this is from across the country kind of scholarship, but someone from my place where I live got the scholarship, and I was just like, wait a second, like this could be me. Like, I didn't think about that though. Now I think about it, I'm like, okay, like, the scholarship's not for so far, like you don't have to be living in a certain place to get it. But instead of the feeling that, I kind of felt really defeated and really sad, because I was like, oh, I missed out on an opportunity to get money for post-secondary. So I started feeling really like overwhelmed and like just scared and like really stressed out about all these scholarships. So like I during that time I was already kind of feeling like when I was eating certain foods, I was like, like I don't know if God really wants me to be eating this. Like I was eating eggs, so I didn't really feel like, I was making it in a healthy way, but I didn't really feel like God wanted me to eat this stuff. And so I feel like either God was just prompting me. I feel like the spirit was just really not really feeling these foods anymore, right? At least for this time. So either God was trying to prompt me to go on to this Daniel fast, or he was just preparing me to go on this Daniel fast. Either way, I already had that desire to like kind of, like the desire was already just instilled in me to not eat those foods. So I remember going into the mirror, going to the washroom, walking in the mirror. I'm like, Lord, I'm going to do this Daniel fast for 10 days. I want clarity regarding scholarships because I just can't deal with this. Like, I just need to like give it up. I just need to let you be in control. So I do it. And as I'm doing this, I'm like, I think like 2-3 days already, I already feel clarity. And I think what God was revealing to me was, wait, hold on. Let me just make sure I get the words. So June 25th, just for clarity, was when I started. And I heard God say to me, like, I'm with you, Ayo. These next 10 days are going to be glorious. You'll see. And then I remember writing down in June 28th, before my Bible study, just like in the morning, I was like saying, right now I feel peace regarding scholarships. God is always helping me to quiet down, but now I'm believing that you, God, will make a way. Fasting is more powerful than I knew, but I'm so grateful that I went on one. Such a great way to start the summer. May you show me and guide me always, Lord. I'm starting to see why fasting is so important. That 3 day fast short film by CFS truly helped me. I pray, God, that you will help me fast. So God was helping me and speaking to me. And then, like, it was... This is June 28th. So... June 28th. I think it was June 28th or June 27th. Either way, during around that time. So it's like a couple of days into the fast. So maybe it's the 5th. Basically, I was thinking about the person that God always wanted me to pray for during my morning prayers and just like throughout the day. And God was like, yeah, you need to go fast for that person for the same reason. And I was like, wait, what? So it went from 10 days to end up being 20 days. And I was just like, wait, what is going on? And so I was calculating because there is a picnic coming up soon. And I was like really excited, like, oh, I'm going to be able to eat this food. Like my sister's birthday was coming up soon. I was like, okay, I'm going to be able to eat on her birthday. Like all this stuff, like this 10 days is going to be easy peasy. And I'm going to be able to go back to all those foods that I really enjoy. God's like, nope. I want you to go and do the same thing for another 10 days for the same reason that you started, for that person I'm always wanting you to pray for. And I was just like, I was really, really hoping, I was trying to get out of it. I was like, like, what do you mean, God? Like, what are you talking about? But, when God speaks a word, you have to do it. So even if you delay it, it's still going to get done. Like, God's going to make sure you do it, or he's going to find someone that will. So I end up going on from 10 to 20 days. And it was really, really difficult. I even got to the point where God was telling me to do an 8 to 2 fast on Sundays. And so I would, I don't know like how y'all do it, but for me, when I do an 8 to 2, I try to like eat before 8, and then sometimes I end up brushing my teeth after. So I don't brush my teeth right before I eat. I brush my teeth after. So I would like all the food and all whatever I eat is out. I'm not sucking on anything sweet or that I just ate before the 8 o'clock time. And that was really difficult because before I actually went on an 8 to 2 fast for like 30 days earlier this year, like in February, March, like that kind of like time period. And it was really, really difficult for me for some reason to do an 8 to 2. And I realized that, and I was literally crying. I was like, God, like, I want food. Like, why am I not eating right now? And I realized that God was literally breaking the spirit of gluttony in my life because I was struggling. I was really, really struggling to eat healthy. I was struggling to also control my portions. And God was literally just breaking the spirit of gluttony. I didn't realize that. But when I was crying, I felt like the spirit was like, really, like, I feel like God really released me from it because the way the spirit manifested almost after God said, yeah, you're doing 8 to 2 today, you're not eating. I was so hungry, I was starving, I was struggling, but God was like, you're not eating any of this, and you're not going to be eating any of this right now in this period. And so even during that, after that 8 to 2, I would still be on the Daniel fast, but he was telling me to not eat during that time. And so I reach day 20, and throughout different ways to eat, I'm learning different recipes, I'm getting better at integrating fruits and vegetables into my diet because I was struggling with doing that as well. And God was really just changing and really transforming me. So I'm going to day 20. I'm like, yes, like it's over, like I'm done. Like after this, this is literally the day of the picnic that I really wanted to eat. Couldn't eat any of the food, so I was just like, okay, whatever it is, what it is. God's gonna pull me through this. The final day, I'm talking to this person at the picnic. I'm not gonna disclose any names or any information because just hearing like somebody just conforming to a career because of the pay grade, and I was in my head, I was like, this is crazy. This is so crazy because I know I wanted to, before I was kind of like that, I wanted to be an actor or actress, I'm a girl, actress because I wanted to be famous. So not to say for the money, but for the fame. I wanted to be famous. I wanted people to know me. I wanted to be on TV, like blah, 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 blah. I was a terrible actor. I didn't even have a passion for acting, but I just wanted to be famous. That was literally the reason why I wanted to go into acting. And God broke me out of that. But I saw this and I was like, I was kind of here. I was like, this is like kind of like, now I think about it, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like what I went through, what God pulled me out of. And I think it was just like a slow process of realizing like acting's not for me. I didn't really pray a specific prayer for that. I don't remember asking God to help me. God just broke it off. I don't even know how it happened, but God just removed that desire from me. But when I was hearing this person, I was like, this is really sad. This is really disheartening that this person wants to go to a certain. This is not the person that God wanted me to be. That God always puts in my heart to pray for. This is not the same person, but this is a different person. But I was like, something's a bit off. I don't know when. I don't know if it was the same day, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was the same day. God's like, you're gonna go one more day and fast for that person. And so what ended up being a 10-day fast turned into a 20-day fast and then turned to 21. And I was just like, God, like, what's going on? Like, you just keep on extending it. And I was just kind of like, like, I don't know if this is like you, God, like it seems like you're changing things, like you're switching things up. But I remember like listening to a testimony where God had this person go on I think it was like a 7-day fast. I don't know how the fast looked like. I don't know what the time frame was. I don't even know if there was a time frame. This person was not eating for 7 days. I don't really know, but God can do all things. He didn't eat for like 7 days. He went to this conference, and then God elongated it, and he had to do another 7 days. This is, I think his name is James Kawlya. He has such a power. You want to feel encouraged or even just like hear about someone else's testimony. It's really interesting how God brought him through and who he was before he became a man of God. But anyways, I was like, okay, so God can extend fast. So I was like, okay, let me go do it. So I end up doing that one more day for that person specifically. Not for me, not for the other person God always has me praying for, just for that specific person. And then that was it. The fast ended. And so I know I got my clarity within the 2-3 days. Like the clarity came quick, y'all. Like God answered quickly. Like I didn't even have to fast for I didn't have to fast the whole 10 days to receive the clarity. But after that, I was like, okay, well then I just started going back to eating. So what I did was that I integrated the foods that I couldn't eat, that I could now eat because I was off the fast by days. So the first day was breads I allowed. Then the next day was sweets, but I don't remember eating anything sweet. And the third day was meats. When I say meats, I'm like animal products. So honey, milk, or dairy, I guess. I try not to eat dairy. I try not to at least. Eggs, like fish, chicken, all the sorts, like just animal products. And so I'm integrating it day by day. But for some reason, like I think I was still struggling a little bit with that hold on food. I had like such a hold on food, and it led to me like after I went to this workshop, and then after that, I feel like every single day God was doing me do a fast. I was doing 8 to 2, or I was doing a Daniel fast, or not eating at all for a full day. Like every day, there was just something God was telling me to let go in the sense of food, and I was like, what's going on here? And then I watched this sermon about someone, and he was literally just talking about people who are willing to just let go of their life and let God be in control. And I was like, I remember God really wanted me to go vegan for a long time, and I was like not willing to do any of that. But I remember on August 6th, I was like, you know what? It's time for me to let this go. So I went completely vegan, and that was literally because I was idolizing food to the point where it was just like I would just think about, like I was thinking about the next meal. I was thinking about what am I gonna eat, what am I gonna do, what am I gonna blah, blah, blah. Like I was thinking about food constantly. It was really, really bad, and God moved me to like let it down. And when I tell you, when I let it down, I felt so much peace. It was insane. But then I ate some crackers, and then I was like, did I really need those? I wasn't really hungry. But God was literally just transforming me. A couple of days later, I think what was different with this and the Daniel's fast was that Daniel's fast, I was kind of counting on the days. This vegan thing, I was kind of just letting God like speak to me. I was letting God do his thing. So I went vegan for like, I think maybe like a week or so. Then God's like, okay, now you can go vegetarian. So then I'm able to eat eggs and honey. That was like my favorite foods. I was literally like, the way I was like holding on to it. But now I don't hold on to them anymore. Like I can let them go. I can do, by the strength God gives me, I'm able to let those things go when prompted to. But I was struggling to let them go. But God helped me let them go for that period of time. Then he said, yeah, but you can be vegetarian. And then I think it was like a couple of days late, before. It was this Wednesday. No, I didn't work Wednesday. Tuesday. It was on Tuesday. God's like, okay, kill and eat. And then that's when I knew. I was like, okay, God has basically cleansed me from the hold of these foods now. And so now I can eat these foods that I was staying away from because of him. And I think what I wrote down some tips or things that God taught me. And I feel like he really just saved me from thinking that certain foods needed to be in my life. I also lost a lot of weight on this fast too. Like it was like I actually kind of got sad a little bit because my clothes weren't fitting me. Like my pants, my shirts were fine. Like, you know, shirts are shirts, but my pants weren't fitting me. Like they were going down. Not to the point where I couldn't wear them, but to the point where I had to kind of like cover like the part where like up the belt loops, that kind, like the waist part, because you could physically see like these are not the pants that she should be wearing. Like these are way too big. So I kind of had to adjust a little bit with that, because I was like, I've always had the identity that like, oh, I need to be having the thickest thighs, you know, the thickest back, you know what I mean by back. Because I felt like as a black female, I needed to have those assets and those attributes and that body type. But I think God was removing that idea from me, because he stripped away that identity for me. I literally lost a lot of weight on this. Did lose muscle for sure. I did lose the muscle mass that I had gained, but I was like, okay, well, I can just gain this back after. But I felt like God was helping me let go, and I was like, you know what, he's right. Like, especially since I'm trying to dress more modestly anyways, it does not matter like how big my thighs or how my body type is, as long as I'm healthy, taking care of this body the Lord has given me, and I'm making sure to I'm gonna be covered anyway. So I was like, does it really matter how big certain parts of my body are? But anyways, God was helping me with that. I think he was helping me breaking my addiction to, like I said, sugar was a really big one. I really, really liked sweets. So God was breaking my addiction to sugar, to bread. I really was obsessed with bread, dairy, and eggs. And I think I also lost a lot of weight because of my lack of protein. I was not getting enough protein because I wasn't really eating like tofu or like nuts enough, or enough beans, I guess. So I think that was just the way I was eating, not necessarily the fast, but the way I went about it was just not a way to gain or maintain the muscle that I had in God, that God helped me get. But things I learned was that I don't need the food I think I need. So I don't need eggs, I don't need honey, I don't need all these foods that I hold on to so much, or I was holding on to so much. God's free me from it. I can do without food. God has helped me to do without food. So yeah, I don't need the food I think I need. God can and will change your heart's desires. Before I used to desire like fried food, chips, sugary drinks, like blah, blah, well, not really too many sugary drinks, but just like really bad unhealthy food. But now God knows that I desire fruits. I really beg him to eat like more fruits sometimes than I need to. But but that's just because God's like helped me to fall in love with the foods that are good for me. So yeah, God literally just can change your heart's desires. He can and will do it if you allow him to. You have to give him that opportunity, that space to speak to you and to allow his work to transform you. God will strengthen you in the hard days, because there were some days that were really difficult for me. I was like, what am I going to eat like for dinner? Like, because I didn't tell my family that I was, except my little sister, but that was towards the end. And it was really hard because a lot of the foods that my mom makes and the foods that are bought aren't foods that I can actually eat. So it was really difficult some days. Especially like going to different events, and then there was like only like a certain type of food there, and I was like, I can't eat any of this. Like, what am I gonna do, you know? But God always made a way and always provided for me. So God is always so gracious. So glory to God. God will help you also get creative in what you eat, because there were some times like I was like, I don't know what to eat, but there's some peppers, there's some potatoes, there's some onions and garlic. Let me just put it together in a meal, bake it, eat it, enjoy it. Like, you know, God can really give you some ideas of like what to eat and how to eat it if you just allow him to work. Like, you just gotta give him that space to give you those ideas if you're willing to hear, willing to listen. Whoever has ears, let him hear. And then lastly was, do not be what does that say? Do not be tied to pleasing your flesh more than following what God has placed on your heart to do. Because there were times where I was just like, I was really did not want to, you know, do those extra days, but I was just like, you know what, God, if this is what you want me to do, I submit to you, I submit to you, I submit to you. I was trying to submit to God and surrender to him. And so I learned that if I was trying to please my flesh, I probably wouldn't have gotten scholarship clarity. I would probably be even more stressed right now. But because God helped me and led me to do that, and led me on this whole 21-day Daniel's fast, but focusing on different segments in each section, I didn't really know I was going to do 21 days, but God knew I was going to do 21, which I'm so happy about. I'm really actually happy I did do it, because I think that it's important to do the things that you think you can't do, because God can always strengthen you to do it. But yeah, also my skin got really clear. I kind of have like a couple pimples here now, but during that my skin got really clear too. So like, there's so much benefits for your like health and body and stuff. So like, it's like good for you, and you're like growing closer to God. So like, fast is a really good thing to do if you're for whatever reason, especially for healing and for like breakthrough and health and stuff. Daniel's fast for sure. But if you're tied to pleasing your flesh, I feel like you're just tied. You're literally tying yourself. You're binding yourself to yourself, and you're not really allowing God to move in your life, because you've just blocked off a certain area and said, oh, this is what my flesh gets to decide, but everything else God can do. Like, that's how I kind of felt like with food. I kind of was just like, well, no one really asks, like, why doesn't everyone ask you for help? Like, why can't I just eat whatever I want to eat, like, and stuff like that? But God was reminding me that I'm not called to be a part of this world or be like the people of this world. Like, I'm not supposed to be like the people who aren't Christian. I'm not supposed to eat like those people. I'm supposed to eat as God prompts me to, right? So I've also learned that, and just because another thing I learned was, just because it's healthy doesn't mean you can still overeat on it. Like, you can still overeat on vegetables or in fruits and stuff. Like, if you're taking like 5 apples when you know you only need 1, maybe 2, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just stuff like that that I was doing, and I was just making excuses for, that God was just like, you can't also like overeat. And I was also learning that you can still commit gluttony while eating a salad. You know what I mean? That's because if you're just taking way too much, right? So still be mindful how much you're taking, but make sure you're taking enough. And just do as the Lord commands you to do. I hope the video made sense. If you have any questions, let me know. But I'm really excited to share this with you guys because God's really been placing this on my heart, and I was putting it off for a really long time, but I promised God that I was going to post this before summer ends, and yeah. So here I am, trying to be faithful and obedient to the Lord, but I'm sorry if there's like, just don't focus on the back or where I am right now. Just like, let the words speak to you, and I pray that this encouraged you. And if you like the video, don't forget to like, and if you are willing to be a part of this, you can subscribe as well. And if you do have any questions or any thoughts you would like to share, you can just let me know in the comments down below, only if you want to. Not gonna force you to do any of those things, but I'm really happy that you stayed this long, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it was a blessing and encouragement to you. And God bless you. I love you, but Jesus loves you so much more. And I hope this encouraged you to do whatever God is prompting you to do, whether it's fast, whether it's do a little event that God wants us placed on your heart to do, or maybe He's telling you to let go of a certain person, or telling you to start picking up going to the gym or something. Like, I don't know. God can speak to you in many different ways, but I hope this video encouraged you to go and do as He is prompting you to do. And yeah, love you guys so much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.